Good morning and welcome to the TechCentral podcast. I'm your host, Daniel Robus, and I'm doing an out-of-town recording today. I'm sitting in beautiful Cape Town overlooking Fishhook, and it is a stunning, stunning place to work. This work from anywhere is really working for me. Today, we have got two super duper guests, Praven Pillay from Maxtec, who is still the managing director and a regular guest on our show. Thanks, Praven. Thanks for joining us. And we are joined by Kfir Kimhi from Israel, who's a little bit further away than Praven is in Johannesburg. Thank you for joining us, gents. Praven, why have we got this guest all the way from over the waters?
Thank you, Daniel, for the introduction and welcome. As we've been on your show a few times, we've all about cybersecurity and data security. And as we evaluate all the solutions that we have to provide to our customers and partners, data protection is at the utmost importance. A big part of our portfolio is around network security, cybersecurity, and we've got all the solutions there to prevent and be the alarm system. But definitely a gap is around data leak prevention. Now, in our portfolio, we met up with Kfir and his company, I think approximately about 18 months ago. And since then, it's been mind-blowing in terms of what ITsMine has to offer. Now, Daniel, we're not talking about the traditional data leak prevention. We're talking almost about the next generation of data. And as we've seen, it's now been 2 years with the pandemic about users working from home is that data is stored everywhere. And, you need to be able to work from home, work from co-locations. We find customers storing data on endpoints, storing data in the cloud, on normal file systems. And the worst thing is that when employees leave, we find that they are leaving with data. And, whether it's consciously or if it's just by accident that they take in sensitive information to use in their next jobs, whether it be to be used for templates and it's to save them time. Either way, it's the company's assets that is at stake.
Okay, that's a brilliant. You brought up a couple of things. And Kfir, I want to bring you into the discussion now, which would be, who are you and where are you? What is your role at the moment, Kfir?
So I'm the CEO and co-founder of ITsMine. It's a data protection company. I've been working with ITsMine for the last almost 5 years.
Okay.
We are based in Israel, and I'm based in Israel in Herzliya, which is a summertime with COVID. We are stuck at home, but it's an interesting time, definitely interesting time, mainly from business perspective and customers, but it is, a unique time in the history.
Are you in lockdown at the moment, similar to our colleagues in Australia, or are restrictions being lifted in Israel?
So we are not in a lockdown, although most of the companies are volunteering for being in lockdown, if you know what I mean. So the numbers are increasing, although most of the population in Israel is vaccinated. We see from the last 1 month, huge amount of people getting the COVID. So I believe that it's here to stay, unfortunately.
What is DLP and what is my data?
So DLP in general is data leakage prevention or data loss prevention, as it's used to called.
Okay.
And the solution has been there for the last 20 years. It's one of the cornerstones of cybersecurity. It's meant mainly for large organization, and it's meant to create boundaries, to make it harder to take data from the company. That's basically the first stage of the DLP. Today, data loss and data leakage is happening from multiple vectors of attack, and it's changed. It's changed the way that we consume data, the way that we are using data, the way that we need to share data. There are no boundaries anymore, right? People are using the cloud, they're working from home.
Yes.
The supply chain users working from home. You need to protect your data and you need to enable your users to share information. You need to be stayed in control. And that's what we provide.
So we've got people that are trying to facilitate a business process, but they're using our data through this. Are you saying that you've got a means for protecting the data through an operational process now?
Yeah, we can talk about specific use cases. Praven just talked about a specific use case or a threat when an employee is leaving the company and taking sensitive data with them. But of course, that could be extended to collaboration between companies. A company that need to share information with its law firm, with Deloitte, with Accenture, a very delicate information that you need your external auditor to look at. They're also working from home. Okay. How can you make sure that this information is always protected? That only the relevant people will see it, only the relevant people will use it, that it's not going to be spread all over.
Okay. So ITsMine is offering you a data protection environment for key assets or all data. What is ITsMine? If you have to give me an elevator pitch of 30 seconds, what does your company do?
Our company is using the current solutions that the customer is already using. Their Google Workspace, their Microsoft 365, their Teams, SharePoint Online, their OneDrive, the Dropbox, their on-prem file storages, a centralized location to share and use the company data. We make it the right place to put the sensitive data. We are making it secured. We are making your users to work in that environment in more secured way. And we give the right KPIs to see that people are using the data in a secured way. And we protect it against external and internal threat. When
excellent.
In that environment, we protect it everywhere. So when it's coming from that centralized location and you're using it on any kind of device, data is always protected and it always can be used according to our company policy.
Okay. So if we are talking about an unstructured data, a Word document, you're going to protect that. And if we're talking about structured data, which is in our ERP solution or our CRM solution, you're protecting that data as well.
So we are mainly working and protecting the unstructured data because this is where you will get the
leakage.
The major leakage.
Yes.
The major threat.
And how do you do that? What does it mean for a company? So let's take, we've got contracts management and we've got, you were talking about a legal firm and we've got the contracts which are made up of a number of documents to create a customer file. How do you protect that? What does ITsMine do?
So ITsMine is doing a protection in 3 stages. It's a holistic approach to protect the company data. It starts with discovery, to know where is your important data is being shared and used in your file storages everywhere.
Okay.
Then we are doing the second step, which is what we call employee-centric protection. We create a virtual minefield, we create fake files, and we use those fake files as a tripwire to know when something bad is happening and prevent a data breach and a data loss from ransomware, from next generation ransomware that steal and encrypt the company data automatically. And we are doing the control and centralize, taking specific use cases in this file storage. And when data is shared with third party, we protect these files everywhere.
So we encrypt or lock the assets. Excellent. And where do you operate from? Is this cloud-based or do we have to do a local install?
It can be 3 different ways to implement. You can use our SaaS platform, you can use your private cloud, or you can use an on-prem implementation. Depends on the company needs.
Okay. And typically these type of deployments to categorize the data, to make sure it's in place, to get the storage, to get the data classification, we're talking months of hard work in order to get it up and running. So are we looking at months of effort before we see anything?
We make it as simple as it can be. No inline network appliances, no endpoint agents. It's implementation of a virtual machine that after we connect it, for example, with your Microsoft 365, we immediately have information for the last 90 days. So it's almost like going back in time.
Wow.
Okay, we It's the thing that had happened in the past.
Okay.
So the discovery stage taking 30 minutes to 1 hour, protection stage, very similar to anti-phishing solutions, so amount of days, and the protection on areas with 5 GPS and time bomb can be done in minutes for each and every use case.
I think just to add on to that point, Daniel, that is one of the unique beneficial reasons why ITsMine is so attractable. We've been in data storage solutions for the past 2 decades, and to implement any DLP solution will take you months. And, as Kfir said, there's a virtual image. It takes you within a day, your solution is already operational, up and running.
That's astounding. That's brilliant. So, Praven, you can take Kfir into a meeting with the customer. We can go into their requirements, and within the next 24 hours, they can start to see some traction here.
Absolutely.
How? Kfir, do you have many little minions that are running around writing things down? What do you do?
Almost a small Israeli. We just think from the minute that we started, we wanted to make it simple. Okay. So we spent huge amount of time, almost 3 years, just in designing and creating the solution to work and to talk the language of the security team, to make it easy to do the implementation and the maintenance, okay, which is highly important.
Okay. So you make the implementation and maintenance simple. So is it the code on the back end that is auto-populating? Have you got wizards that go? Are you scripting? How do you do it so quickly to be effective?
Right. So first of all, we leverage what the customer already has. So if the customer has Microsoft 365, we're using their logging capabilities in order to take this information and make it meaningful. Okay, to normalize it so it will look like something that a man can read. And we are taking this information and running algorithm to understand what is behind it. Where are those areas that we need to look at? What our people are really doing? So we collect information that the company already have in their system, but we just make it in a way that you can actually take action on this information.
Yes.
And then the capabilities of protecting the company data, creating these soft mines, creating this virtual mine, all those capabilities, making concept like deception, taking part of a data protection tool, part of the DLP. So deception is a technique that is very quiet, not creating many false positives, and very accurate to find threats.
Wow.
But when you use that for data protection, this is when things are clicking.
That's amazing. Now, Praven, a question for you. Whenever we bring people with funny accents from faraway lands with exotic foods, they cost us a lot of money. Can I afford this, or is it only for the top 2% of South African companies?
Daniel, I think most of the solutions that we provide is extremely cost effective. Just from an implementation time, if you think about other DLP solutions, the time, the project management, the discovery process, we're talking about months where, like Kfir said, you're looking at a day's time to be operational. Most of the work is already pre-configured. You're already saving from the professional or the consultancy fees. Then if you needed to, compare apples with apples, that once it's operational, what is the actual cost per user? I think I did some calculations and it came down from a list price to something like 250 Rand per user per year. Now, that price alone, for an enterprise who's putting down a value on how, what is the cost of your data? You can't actually put a value to it until it's lost. And then it's too late. So, if you look at an endpoint client, just to protect you against next generation security or to give you a proper endpoint client, you're looking anywhere between 300 and 500 Rand per device per year. To get an advanced solution, what Kfir and them is bringing to the market, not only is it, I think the biggest problem we have is we store data everywhere. So we don't even know where the data is stored until it's lost, ends up in the media, and then, yes, the whole world knows about it. But before then, the discovery process, like Kfir mentioned, is one of the unique factors. They're able to tell you exactly where your data is deployed, or that's one of the steps that we go through.
Yes.
We go through the process.
Kfir, your engineers, are they involved with the customer, or is it almost plug and play? Is it Praven's team that gets it up and running? If we buy now, how do we go live tomorrow? What is the process of getting ITsMine operational?
So it's very simple. It's very plug and play, and we have video clips that can present you what you need to do. And definitely, the team of Maxtec is helping the customer to implement it. Always with the first customers, we are involved and we want to be involved. Coming to each and every new area in the world, we are definitely more involved in the beginning than in late stage. Once working a lot with Maxtec, their engineers already know the solution, sometimes even better, of our new employees. And that's a collaboration that we did. So definitely the solution is very easy, talking the right language and sending the right event. So you don't need to spend your time looking at logs.
Okay. A tough question for you, and I guess it's for both of you. A South African reference that we can go to? None yet. I'm assuming by the deafening silence.
Yeah, we cannot go into. Naturally, we are talking about data protection. Okay, so we cannot get into a specific customer unless they allow us, and it's a rare cases that they allow us to talk about the data protection tools.
Yeah, I got to agree with that, Daniel. Is the sensitivity is extremely sensitive, but we're talking about any enterprise, right down to government and high-profile customers as well.
Okay. All right. I'm going to disagree with both of you. I think that if my customer had to deploy the solution, they'd be very proud to come and chat to us. So our challenge, Praven, is for next time for us to have a customer to come and chat through the experience, because it sounds so good that people are actually going to think, no, Daniel, you're talking nonsense on the show. I love your website, Kfir. I love how simple it is to consume, even from my perspective. I can understand where you're going, and I can understand why you've chosen Maxtec to go to market in this region. It's simple, it's clean, it's easy to read. When we put the write-up, I'm going to include the webpage so that people can go and have a look at it and see what your offering is. Kfir, you're part of the founders, you're co-founder, and you're one of the bosses on that side. Talk to me about your release strategy. What are you excited about in the next 6 months coming out of ITsMine?
So we are having more and more features that we are adding. Almost every 2 weeks, we have new features that is available on our SaaS platform and then also on our on-prem solutions. So we are working in a lean and an agile way. And if we're talking about the big things that we are working on, so naturally, what we are putting a lot of effort today is about the training of the employees, showing those results in a way that it's been easier to digest, and also providing reports to the customer about compliances, GDPR, California Consumers Privacy Act, to be able to give in the right language the report automatically to the auditor so they could see that the things are being protected.
Excellent. Praven, I was going to ask Kfir for this, but I'm actually going to ask you, your focus for ITsMine for the next quarter. What are you getting your team to focus on?
The focus has definitely been on the enterprises, healthcare. We've seen it in the media, the financial institutions, the healthcare organizations, and government have been, in fact, any organization, anyone who's connected to the internet has risk. And we're there to make things simple, to understand the discovery, and give customers the ability to track the data, to understand who is using your data, how are they using the data, and also to help protect the data in the case of external access, whether it be malicious or somebody who has access to the data and trying to steal the data.
So what I'm hearing is, Praven, you're doing a couple of POCs at the moment. Have you got that far yet?
Yes, certainly
Awesome.
In terms of using ITsMine solutions as a bigger part of the cybersecurity, it forms a huge gap for customers who are, not just procuring a next generation firewall and having analytics to report on it, but also to protect the data. Because yes, it is going to happen, whether it be the form of ransomware. It's just, the possibilities are endless.
For me, what struck me on some of the stuff that the team has shared, it was just your sales team where there's quite a lot of turnover of staff walking away with your customer base or your presentations or your formats of proposals. I don't think there's anything malicious there, but it's actually your data. And if you can, I don't know, Kfir, if it makes it explode when it goes out or gracelessly crumbles in the middle of a presentation, I still think that's a really good sign of document management and security around it. So that's quite exciting. Kfir, you haven't been to South Africa yet. I hope you're going to come and visit us soon. We have amazing wines, better than your wines, and good food. But for our listeners who are grappling with this and aren't yet working with your product set, what advice do you have for them on DLP as a takeaway for this session? What practically can you advise them on DLP?
I think that the most important one is not to create boundaries. It's to try to see how you enable your users to share the information.
Okay.
How can you make their life easier while training them, while protecting the data? But always think about how can you help the users to share the information. They want to do it securely. They want to do the right things, but make their life easier. Don't try to create boundaries when it doesn't exist.
Okay. And enable it through electronics. We've got the systems to do it today. That's excellent. Right. That's excellent. Praven, do you have anything in summary for our audience from a Maxtec perspective?
Absolutely. We always engage with customers or end users. We fulfill by a strict channel partner program. And I think, on behalf of ITsMine and Maxtec, we would definitely offer a free proof of concept to customers out there to display how simple it is. And again, free, no cost.
Come on, we like free. Did you hear that, folks? We like free. A free POC. That is amazing, Praven. So you heard it here first, guys. If you are concerned around your control of your data, of your unstructured data leaving your shores, we have got a free POC that we can put in. Maxtec will be running it on behalf of ITsMine. That's very exciting, Praven. Thank you for that.
I want to add something more. It's not only if you are concerned. If you know that you had a user that left the company 2 weeks ago and you want to know whether he potentially took some data with him, you can go and implement the solution today and know exactly what he's been doing in the last 2 weeks. Okay, if you had a threat, if you had a malware in your network and you want to know whether that system reached to your data and change your data, again, even if it happened 2 weeks ago, don't hesitate. Give us a call, give Maxtec a call, and we can provide you the information to know what exactly happened.
That is amazing. That's really solid. I said it in jest earlier, and I'm saying it in earnest. Praven, I can't wait until we can get your first public customer and we can have a chat through their experience. I think that it's been a long time since I've heard of something as exciting as this, Kfir, because I've worked on the application side and all the data around it. We create huge amounts of data. We're not creating knowledge and we don't know what we're losing. You are giving us an effective means for knowing what we have and what we stand to lose. And I think in this time, we need every advantage we can get. So that's quite a mouthful from Daniel. Praven, the head of Maxtec, thank you for supporting us on our podcast and being another guest and sometimes sharer of great information. Today's one of those times. And Kfir, thank you for joining us with your enthusiasm from Israel. Good luck with all the changes that COVID is bringing about, and good luck for launching in our region. We wish you all the best as you bring this necessary product to our market. From my side, Daniel Robus, thanks for joining us for another amazing episode of the TechCentral podcast. I've thoroughly enjoyed learning from ITsMine. We look forward to seeing them spreading all over South Africa. On that note, goodbye.